Hi, I'm Mel Pickup, Chief Executive of Bradford Teaching Hospitals. Welcome to this week's update, which today focuses on our people, and in particular some of our great colleagues in the pharmacy team here at Bradford Royal Infirmary. Two of our pharmacy stores assistants, Danny Norfolk and Scott Hymas, have set up a new system to keep wards topped up with the right levels of medication. Here they are to tell us about how they are improving efficiency, staff morale and cost effectiveness.
The project was brought to us initially by our manager, which we volunteered for.
The thing about it was we used pen and paper, which we used to come to the wards, top them up, and then we used to go back to that pharmacy and then process it through the computer, and then we had to print it off. So the process was very, very long. I did a trial and test with a laptop and it worked out. You saved like nearly half an hour on a top-up. Let me just have a quick look on your stock list, love, and I'll be able to tell you now straight away, sweet. So the patient care were a lot better. The drugs were at the ward faster, and then it was just like teaching the other lads in the department how to go about it.
I've noticed over a period of time that we've been having a few issues around pharmacy. Overstocking, not enough room in the cupboards, expiry dates. So Danny came and spoke to me and asked me whether I would be interested in piloting a new scheme. It
was like, right, tell us where to start, you know, what you want us to do, and that was it, we was off. It was like saving the wards money, wasn't it? What they would save if they didn't need to use it. Rectifying stock list, basically, so like if they didn't use it, do you really need it?
Hello, Naomi.
Hello, what do you do?
Hello, Naomi, my little sugar plum.
Get away with you. So when Danny and Scott come on the ward, they always bring a happy atmosphere with them.
Stop and talk. Just only to you guys, because we love you that much, that's why.
We get that rapport built straight away with the staff member, usually the ward manager or the sister, and then explain the process in what it is that we're trying to do with our project. And then once we've done that, we'll start looking at the clinic room and the medications that they've got by using the stock list.
I'm a Triptyline 25.
It was looking at restocking the cupboards, trying to reduce our wastage, trying to stop the issues with expiry dates.
We helped them out with having meds on the wards so they didn't have to do like a take-home for a patient's meds to be dispensed by the dispensary. It was quite time-consuming. It could have been 2 hours because it goes through like clinical checks on it, then you need a technician to do the dispensing, you need a pharmacist to do all the clinical checks and stuff before the patient's done.
Having a better understanding of what medications that we were carrying so that they weren't ordering stock items for patient own and vice versa.
If the patient was getting discharged, it was there for the patient to go home with straight away, so they didn't have to wait maybe an hour and a half.
Inevitably what we wanted to do was make sure that the patient comes first.
We saved not just the trust money but the ward's money as well, you know, so they can spend it on patient care and needs.
We've saved almost £1,200 just by reducing our pharmacy stock. It's just been getting people to change the way that we normally do things.
And the paperwork, please. Just accept.
Because we carry so little stock now, as you open up the cupboards, it's more visual and it's less time consuming because you're not having to rummage through looking for things. There aren't any issues with regards to our expiry that we were getting into bother with.
Bad boys, he's got we come bad boys, couldn't we? Bad boys, what you gonna do? I think the board meeting was the best thing we ever did, didn't we, really? Yeah. In the trust, wasn't it? That was one of the freakiest things ever to come about, really, wasn't it, Scott? Yeah. We was outside Field House and Mel, Mel, the lovely woman, she came out, she spoke to us, she went, oh, what are you two doing? And we was like talking to her normal, and she was like, all right, you know, yeah, I want to invite you to a board meeting. And me and Scott just looked at each other, it was like, is this for real?
In stores at the minute, we've got several projects which are on the go.
We've got a presentation together for the board. It's something we've never done before, never got asked to do. And then when we went to the board meeting, my heart was palpitating like there were no tomorrow.
I think they were quite surprised at some of the level of work that we were doing, to say the positions that we have in the pharmacy department, how much work we were taking on. We were volunteering to do it as well, to make, you know, everyone's lives a bit easier.
The board said that they'll be there to help us through this project and help with anything that we need. I couldn't believe the feedback we got. When people give you feedback like that, it makes you drive more to get more. I'll drive till 2077 to get this to where I want it to be, perfect, you know, throughout the whole trust. And it will eventually come, because when you put passion, heart and soul into it, you'll do it.